Okay, guess we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Teacher Training Academy 2025. It's 5 p.m. my time, sharp. So I can see that you're joining. Hi, Maria. You are the first one in the chat. Good to see you. Thank you for your communication. As you probably know, this is the third meeting in the I Develop series. And what I truly, and I'm being honest with you, hi from Argentina, is that I love the interaction and I love you sharing the ideas. And there is like a really, really nice energy within the chat. So before we move on, let's start with an icebreaker as people are joining. If you could share a secret skill you have that you would never list on your job application because it wouldn't lend you your position, but you are secretly proud of. Okay? If you could share the skill, the secret skill you have that you're proud of, but you wouldn't put it in your job application. So my hint is this icon, or you can juggle Valley, okay? And my secret skill, I'm gonna be honest with you, is sleeping. I sleep like a baby. Running, okay? Uh-huh. Sense of humor. Uh-huh. I can use Facebook while revising mails. Yup. I'm a dog trainer, everything. Dancing, eating. Uh-huh. I could, oh, there was something with chaos. Oh my God. Where was it? I can turn the chaos into structure fast, Veronica. Creativity. Uh-huh. Shopaholicism. Ha. Cracking jokes. Cat whisperer. So the secrets, we all do have things we are secretly seeing the future. Analia, nice one. And sleeping while working, my personal best. As you can see, I relate to sleeping as well. So that's belly dancer, Carolina. Oh my God. So probably yes, but who knows? Maybe there will be time that our secret skills will be heavily looked after and will be earning millions of whatever we want, like chocoholic and predicting grades. Okay, so thanks a lot for your secret skill. And this is, as you can see, the third session in the Develop series. And several people contacted me. So it means that we finished the whole block. And it's been a privilege of being with you throughout these 3 sessions. And by the end of the session, once they are over, we'll calculate all the attendance, and there is a single certificate per series. So if you attended three of them, you'll get a certificate from the Develop series. Then there is a I Teach series with 4 sessions, so the same single certificate attending all the sessions. And then there is a third one by the end of this year, the Provoke series, which I'm really looking forward to. Well, the second one with the AI, I found a really nice presenter. I hope that you're gonna enjoy it. So there will be a single certificate per series, per training series. And one word about me or extra information, like every webinar, you get a feedback and you get a takeaway PDF. So hopefully you will get the feedback form by tomorrow or early next week, because there is a national holiday here in Poland. So I have 2 days only to do it, either tomorrow or on Monday. So in case you miss it tomorrow, look forward to an email from us on Monday, and you'll get a feedback form and a takeaway PDF, just a basic summary. And you, by the end of the academy, once you'll attend a minimum of 7 sessions, you'll get a certificate of completion of all the academy, and you'll earn a Credly badge. Okay. Then a little bit about me. I'm a former teacher. It's my 11th year in Pearson, I guess. So I used to be in sales, then business development, and I was gradually and slowly moving myself into this training team. And right now I'm a member of the global training team. I run educational programs, and then I gradually started building my second leg of business. So I moved into the coaching, crisis intervention. So I deal a lot of deal quite a lot with stress, with the professional burnout. Then there's a psychology of motivation, so perseverance, and the curiosity, growth mindset, and feedback. They all relate to this psychology of motivation. And in my free time, if I can, I choose swimming and safe mountain bike. So this is what I'm planning to do in the near future. I will be sharing the editable PDFs to those who attend once again, and I will share the PDF from this session and the PDF from the previous session. If you haven't received one, just reply to an email that you will get from this session, Buzvra, and just let me know which PDF you are looking for. Without further ado, the develop feedback, really important thing, and I guess we cannot live without feedback. So we need to get some form of guidance, some form of instruction. And when it comes to effective teaching and exam preparation protocol, feedback is something that it might be good getting deeper knowledge and experimenting and learning the best strategy. So I will share with you guidelines as previous sessions, evidence-based, but I want you to remember that everything you hear, so you need to edit, you need to play with it, you need to experiment with it so that it will be most suitable to your personal environment and teaching environment. So by the end, I aim to cover two things. I aim to cover feedback as a tool to support self-efficacy and the tool that fuels curiosity and promotes deeper learning, and basically sharing some elements for you to design feedback so that it will be growth-oriented and not entity-oriented. So this ability to grow through challenges and this ability to squeeze the best potential, the best possible information out of providing and receiving feedback. The question, if you could share in the chat, either number 1 or 2, what's your best feedback experience and what's your worst feedback experience as a teacher or as a student? If you could type a mini story, like either best or either worst case scenario that you've experienced being a teacher, and maybe it was like a shadowing lesson, so someone provided feedback to you, or maybe you were a student. It doesn't have to be an English lesson, but in general, and you heard some feedback from someone, and either it was the best or it was the worst. And why was it the best? Evaluating essays. My worst feedback is peer review, okay? Teacher told me I was bad at math, and after that, I never tried to study it. You see? And I totally agree with you, because this is what we had in this growth mindset session. So once you believe it, and then you say, okay, that's the way I am, I'm not surprised there was this avoidance behavior. My best feedback is using Padlet. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Ha, he told me if there is anything wrong, you will know quickly. Okay, Mary, thanks a lot. My worst manager that ignored my request for feedback. Uh-huh. Oh, yeah, I'm not surprised you were disappointed. Thanks a lot for sharing the story. Fluff without providing legitimate feedback. Okay. I'm not surprised for was like infuriating and challenged to develop my writing skills. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Guess what she did when I turned my homework? She ripped it and made me throw the pieces into the trash. Okay. So those things happen that people tell stories about, and they are real. Uh-huh. My bad experience is that my teacher said I never tried. He didn't acknowledge my effort. Okay. And we're gonna Citra, we're gonna talk about it, because well, those teacher was using one of the worst possible bullets that you could use in feedback, and you will know why, and you will know how to modify it within your teaching reality. I have no experience to teach. Okay, so that's something to deal with. Manure. My boss was scolding me instead of giving me feedback, Gustavo. Oh my God. So I'm not gonna ask if it's still your boss or you've changed it, or how can you grow out of this situation. The best feedback I receive is when my students tell me that I'm their best and coolest teacher. Yeah. So congratulations, and I hope that all of you will get this feedback from time to time. Constructive, not destructive. Okay, thanks for your stories. Now imagine the situation that feedback doesn't just correct mistakes. It just builds curiosity, agency, and confidence. And just imagine that this is the type of feedback with the functionality. How different would your students be? Just imagine that you know how to do it, and you know you are skilled at delivering feedback that amplifies curiosity, agency, and builds confidence. Okay. Can you think of any potential differences that you would see in your students? They would dream, they would be more engaged. That would be a dream come true if you ask any teacher, Nislu. Okay. So maybe by the end of this webinar, you will know how to make this dream come true. They will be less petrified, Irina. So we're gonna talk about it, that is being petrified. They would believe in themselves. Happier. Katya, they ask for feedback. They will be listening actively. And actually, would you say yes or no? Is it possible to deliver this type of feedback? Yes or no? Yes, absolutely, Magdalena, Maria. So at least we have a good starting ground that nothing, but it's going to be challenging and it will require work and perseverance on your side. And I keep fingers crossed for this element. So as you see, my webinars, they are very related to psychology, because I believe that if you want to improve something, you need to dive a bit deeper, and you dive into a different sector than just the methodology itself. So I'm not going to be talking about the FISH acronym in feedback, about this positive, negative, constructive, etc., etc. And I will mention two important elements, and this will give the foundations of the effective feedback. So imagine a situation. And the situation is, I'm gonna, yeah. You hold on a second. Poll. I'm gonna launch a poll. Okay, and if you could type the answer, just read the situation. How would you feel in one word? Yeah, the 50. Yeah, the numbers are growing. Okay, there is a speed. I can sense the speed, the energy. 2 words, Claire. Okay. Will not end the world with 2 words. 90 people, 93. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so it's say like great, hyped up, challenged, enthusiastic, excited, eagerness, it depends. Curious, comfortable, overwhelmed, and so on, so on, so on. Okay. So those elements that you worried, interested, uncertain, curious. So just by placing the name of the emotion, you manage to land yourself in one of the categories. This is like a basic transaction model of stress. How do we react to events, whether we want it or not? We usually are closer to one of the categories. Either you treat it as a loss, you treat it as a threat, or you treat it as a challenge. And those elements, as you can see in the slide, they are highly related to the particular emotional reactions. So, of course, the loss is with a grief, with sadness, with regret that you did something, that you didn't do something. The threat is like coming, the looming danger, okay? There could be some negative consequences. So it's all about the fear and anxiety, worry. Sometimes these elements you worry about, but you are not really sure what you worry about. So you might lose something valuable. You might lose a chance to study at the university. So the students could perceive final certificate or the school leaving examination, or they can perceive the test, the next grammar test on mixed conditionals, as something that you will lose something valuable and you will not get something else. Or you can perceive the situation as a challenge. So there is an element of anxiety as well, but it's mixed with excitement, hope, and eagerness. And some of you actually put eagerness. And there is a completely different reaction and motivational behavior, whether you perceive the situation as a loss or a threat or a challenge. Okay. And of course, it's not that it happens by accident. We've been trained, we've got our temperamental characteristic, we've got our traits of character, we have our life experience, we have the education, we have the observation of our parents, and we have the observation of our immediate surrounding, and it all constitutes those elements that whenever something new happens, either say, oh no, I'm not gonna go there, I'm gonna stay away because I could lose something, so I'm not gonna attend the next English classes because there is a test, and I will pretend I'm sick. So if we were to finish this webinar at this slide because of the fire alarm, power cut, or whatever, and there would be one thing to remember on what should feedback allow your students. Can you try and finish this sentence? My feedback should allow my students to thrive and grow, okay? To grow their knowledge. And with reference to loss, threat, challenge, my feedback should allow my students to learn how to transfer from threat to challenge. Because if they already perceive anything that is happening their way in this challenge bucket, that's okay. But if they perceive it as a threat, the feedback should teach them how to move from threat to challenge. And what can you do as a teacher is like, either you can print it and just design a poster and stick it on the wall, like a big red or black letters, capital letters. Like, it's called cognitive reframing, okay? Shifting the threat to opportunity, because opportunity is a challenge. In every challenge, there is an opportunity. So it could be as easy as it may seem, by basically teaching them on and on a question, what can I learn? What can I gain from the thing I've just experienced? What can I learn from the test that I've just failed? What can I learn from the reading exercise I've just covered? What can I learn from the grammar? And it's all connected, inextricably linked to the growth mindset. Like, every mistake is a training ground. Once your feedback will be in a position that it will convey this message that everything you do is a training ground, you will set them up for a nice representation of challenges in the forthcoming events, okay? Because it's not only about the language education, it's about equipping them to thrive in the language reality when they will use English and they will communicate on a daily basis. That's number one. Number two is like reducing the anxiety and promoting proactive behavior. And this is my homework for you. Just remember mental simulations. I once delivered the webinar, I guess, a year ago or 2 years ago. So I think you can find it. If not, just Google mental simulation, get some literature about it and learn it. What are mental simulation? And they are used in business, in sports, in education. So actually how they can use their imagination to help them prepare more effectively. So this is my optional homework. And the third one, like building this internal sense of mastery. So it's the same growth orientation. So the first element of feedback is like allow your students to move from threat or loss to challenge, that they can grow out of this situation, no matter how sad the situation feels in this current element, because there is like a big red F, okay? And remember last webinar, I told you to exchange F failed for not yet, okay? So as a form of shift in this mindset approach. So that's number one. Number two is like, it's still number one is like whenever there is a saying that either you treat errors and mistakes as something which shouldn't present in the teaching protocol in the language education, or this quote is taken, if my memory serves me right, from a book, and I recommend reading it. It's called Right Kind of Wrong. You'll see it in the chat. By Amy Edmondson. Right Kind of Wrong. Amy Edmondson is about psychological safety. Right Kind of Wrong. Yes, now you see it. Okay, so worth reading it. And if my memory serves him right, she mentions one of the doctors who said, like, how does it feel when someone points out my error? Actually, pretty good, because it means that I can develop and I can become a better person. So it's nothing wrong in pointing out errors on condition that there is psychological safety. Okay, so this is like looking at the mistakes from the perspective of challenge rather than threat or a loss. And that's the second element, like a fundament of feedback that would fuel the curiosity and growth. These are the universal needs. And imagine you are a student, you attend the class, whatever, English, pottery, maths, and wherever you are around the world. And what are the 3 universal needs that we will all have attending every single class? Can you try and name those needs that we'll all have, and we would like those needs to be taken care of? Safety, Maya, okay. Support. Acceptance, Anusha, okay. Nice thinking. Ahmed, focus, okay. Being Wilton recognized, a good combination. Reinforce my achievement. This is Lava, okay. Towards my language, a nice try, a good combination. Motivation and well-being, Irina. Being congratulated, Magdalena. Fun, to be seen, Kata, and valued. That's a deep one. I appreciate it. Integrity. Okay, so yes, these are the needs. And wherever you are, and I want you to remember this element, that your feedback should address 3 universal needs that we all have, and there is no hierarchy. Different cultures could promote different need, but you want to feel autonomy, you want to feel competence, and you want to feel relatedness. And this is the self-determination theory by Ryan and Detsy. And we all know, and it's one of the best theories explaining motivation, explaining the elements that we thrive in the reality. So basically, we want to have the feeling that I'm choosing something not because I'm forced to, but because I want to. And I know how to improve it. So I'm competent. So I've got tools and I know how to use the tools and I matter to others. And these are the things that your students bring to your class. They want to feel autonomous. They want to feel in control. They want to feel competent, and they want to feel that they are member of your group, that you are with them, and then you form a connection. So the self-determination theory, Richard Ryan and Edward Deci, and just Google it, learn about it. This is the fundamentals of the feedback that will allow your students to grow. And the question is, just imagine the situation that your students will feel in control. They can choose what they want. They will feel competent, that they can manage the situation, and they will feel that they are part of the group, that the group supports each other. What positive elements could come out of this combination? How would you describe your students' approach to learning a language? How would you describe if they feel competent, if they feel that they can choose, and it comes from them, and they feel that they are member of the group and they support each other? Mm-hmm. They will strive to know more. They will be motivated. They will be self-driven, and that's all what we want. We want students to be self-driven in a sense. They will have positive approach, yes, and this is what we know. Eager to improve, Claudia, a nice one. So we know, and there's been some empirical research that if you cater for those needs, okay, and they happen, and they feel secured within these three elements, then you could expect higher engagement, and they will be more persistent. So persistence will be on a higher level when they will be dealing with challenging tasks. As a result, so it's not about talent. Talent plays a role, but it's all about discipline and being persistent. As a result, self-fulfilling prophecy, we talked about it. As a result of trying harder, they will have the creativity will be on a different level, and the final one, the better performance, the higher emotional well-being because of this sense of connection, and there is a deeper learning and mastery, just because of the fact that someone took steps to cater for these three needs. And these are the really important questions to ask when you teach. How to give your students more choice, how to help them feel capable, and how to build a trusting connection. Okay? If you teach reading classes, or if you teach speaking classes, or if you teach listening classes, and they have multiple choice questions, they write an essay, or they write an email, and then there is a chance for you to have an interaction, either individual or a group discussion, or teenagers or kids. They all want to have those three needs secured because it's been proven that these are the universal needs. Yes, if you like this question, like Amalia, you said, like, copy them and just put them somewhere close in your teaching reality. Is like how to give your students enough choice so that they will feel autonomy. Any ideas? And how to help your students feel capable? Anything that you can share? How to do it? Ola, build a trusting connection. Come on, I'm teaching present perfect. There's no time to build a trusting connection within my class. They want to score 50 or 80%, and that's the goal. Not exactly. That's not the goal of teaching. And we're going to finish with grades and certificates. Okay, any ideas? To do or not to do the homework? Let them choose. That's a brave one. I appreciate, and And I really like your combination, and I'm looking forward to what you can come up with next. Okay, Claire, you can introduce AI activities nowadays. Yes, and capitalize on AI activities to give autonomy with project. Let them choose the topics of the next lesson. Magdalena, I really like that you just connected the anticipatory element, just choosing what they will be talking about next lesson. Giving them a list of external sources where they can practice the target language, Desisława. Okay, so offer the autonomy. Okay. So please remember it's to these 3 questions and ask them from time to time, or you can rate them on a scale on 1 to 10. What is the level of me satisfying the need for autonomy? What is the level of me satisfying the need of being competent? And what is the need of being within the group of trusting this building connection? And since we talk about feedback, this is the question, a mini practice for you. Imagine that you are giving speaking performance feedback. And now you know that the feedback should be related to these 3 universal needs: autonomy, competence, and relatedness. Okay, give it a try in the chat that you are giving speaking feedback to make your life easier. Let's imagine it's individual lesson. So you've got time. We will deal with class feedback in a second. Okay, any ideas? What can you say? Speaking performance feedback. I'm looking at the time so that I will manage to cover all those elements. What would you say? You know that you need to address autonomy, you need to address competence, and you need to address relatedness. Recall the facts from their personal experience, guiding them on self-correction. Okay, is there anyone who would attempt to write actually the words that they would say? If there is a score on speaking performance, autonomy, which aspect of the speaking they can work on? Fluency, pronunciation, vocabulary. Great try, Alejandra. Now let's try again, checking the structure. Okay, I like you combining the 2 elements, the competence, the try, great try, and let's try again, checking the structure. Okay, so the sample feedback is here. Of course, I want you to play with the words. I want you to design it for yourself, but just I want you to see, once you read this feedback, that there are 3 needs addressed. Okay, and just type it in the chat if you can see that the 3 needs are addressed within this feedback. Can you see them? Can you see autonomy? Can you see competence? And can you see connection? Magdalena, definitely. Yep. So you made a fantastic effort using complex structures, okay? If you are feeling adventurous, why not try linking your ideas to some new connectors, okay? So giving them autonomy and relatedness. I can't wait to hear how you feel, okay? So basically, all those elements, all the feedback you'll be providing, you can do exactly the same. It requires a bit of practice. Sometimes it requires writing down a sample feedback that would address 3 needs and then playing with it so that it becomes natural. So you address their autonomy, you address they are competent, and you address that they belong to the team. It's like I'm truly impressed by how you are developing your writing voice. Okay, there's an emotional element which will build this connection. Okay, you might enjoy trying out a different introduction style. C is like I'm not controlling them and saying next time try, but I offer a choice that you might enjoy, and sometimes it could be offering two different alternatives. And the last one, the same, for example, when you are focusing only on vocabulary. This is up to you, but every feedback that will build this sense of autonomy, competence, and connection within the team will address those elements. Self-determination theory, Maria. So if you just type it and you will go to the Detsy and Ryan, and then you'll learn about the motivation, and then you will go to those elements within feedback. So those elements, in short, in a form of a poster, AI generated, but feel free to design it on your own. So this is like, remember, you support the autonomy, you build the sense of mastery. That's why it's connected with the growth mindset. Then you strengthen the connection. Okay, then there is this part of emotion, the part of trust, the part of being in a team, that we are together in the process. And there is last one. This is internal purpose. And this is important because your students, whether we want it or not, it would be good, and we can teach them that they need to know the deeper reason why they are learning a language. And passing with a grade A, B, C, or D, it's not the reason you want to have. Or getting a certificate is not the reason you want to have. And by the end of the webinar, you will know why. And of course, this is the beautiful feedback. And I know, because we've all been there, and there is like a teacher listening to me, it's like, oh my God, what is he talking about? That I usually have full class, 40 students, there is time pressure. I need to move with the book. I need to cover the units. I need to do the test. I need to check the emails. The life is not as beautiful as it seems here. And I deal with teenagers. Come on. And they don't care about those needs. The first element is, yes, they do care about those needs. They do care about autonomy, competence, and especially being a part of something bigger. So the question is, if you have full class, you have limited time, and there is no room for like a really deep feedback. Because if you have individual students, then you can plan, you can design, you can master your own time. Any ideas? What can you do to put it into practice within this, let's say, everyday public school reality? Peer evaluation, that's one of the options. Okay, anything else that comes to your mind, that you know that feedback is important, you know the needs, and the reality, you've got teenagers, you've got 45-minute class here in my country, and times goes like this. And if you have like 2 lessons, wow, that's a success. It's not a private school. And then you need to cover the units, you need to go with the program. How to live in these elements with feedback. Feedback on common mistakes, okay. It can be group feedback. Comment after the activity. Exit tickets every after lesson. Thanks a lot. Student journal. Mistakes of the week. Yes, Claire, we had mistake of the week. Growth mindset. Beautiful. Nice one. I really enjoyed that you connected those 2 elements. Use AI for feedback ideas. I like the way that you capitalize, Carol, the use of artificial intelligence. So the elements to look after. First of all, and this is something I wish I had experienced, number one, and it has never happened to me when I was a student. Micro feedback within the activity, not by the end of activity. It's like I was usually waiting till the end of the reading, until the end of the listening activity. When we were lucky, we said something, and when we were checking, for example, the answers, multiple choice, it was like a good, bad, wrong, right, and that's it. And that was the only feedback that we got. How about if you are new to this theme, you design, or you ask AI, or you design yourself a set of phrases And those phrases will be thrown during activities. And those phrases could take you from 1 second to 3 to 4 seconds when you listen to someone. Instead of saying good or bad, you say like strong word choice, okay? Competence, okay? Keep that fluency going, okay? Autonomy, competence. You're structuring. I really love how you're saying it, okay? The sense of connection. And if you are truly creative and competent within those elements, those things shouldn't be a challenge. If you are new to these elements, design a set of phrases, think about those phrases, what can you say, and learn how to juggle them and just throw them halfway through the activity, not at the end, just you hear something, especially when you can circulate among your students. That's number one. Number two is like, now you know it. Once you finish, you design one feedback for the class, but you bring with this feedback the element of autonomy by offering what can you try the next time. You bring into life the element of competence. You basically say what you appreciated, what you were honored to witness, what you really loved seeing, and then you build the connection. And of course, this is the easy start, the easy system to remember, the positive growth and suggestion. But most important for me is like remembering about those needs. And the final one, as some of you mentioned, this is the peer assessment. It could be very short. One thing good, one thing to improve. Nothing else, okay? It could be, as you mentioned, those students' feedback notebooks, or it could be like a simple chain feedback opportunity within the class when they join within the small groups and they say, what worked best for me today in this class, what was effective, what I'd like to improve the next time, or one thing I'm totally proud of today was mini activity. And all those elements, they take from 5 seconds to 1 minute top, or 2 minutes. It's up to you. So it's possible to deliver effective feedback even when dealing with large class. Okay, so these are the 3 variations. So please remember that even the small things you say, but if you say them with the right words and the right moment, they can change the climate and the atmosphere within the class. In the middle of a challenging activity, like they are struggling really with the reading section, you can boost their competence, because if it happens within this activity, they are already engaged, okay? They are already in the process of fighting the dragon. And then when you slightly give a boost to their competence and the autonomy, the effect will be much stronger than, for example, you wait till they finish and they cool down, okay? So this is the element. So 3 options. Don't wait till the end, one for all, and this peer-to-peer feedback. And then there is a teacher saying, oh, come on, but we know that we are living in the era of grades, that the students are learning to get grades. There is a competition and we organize competitions. The first is the best, and we give stars and stickers and we give certificates. And that's all really matters in education. Is it true that educational systems are built around grades? Yes or no? Yes and no. Yes, yes. And yeah, unfortunately. Okay, so you know what? You don't have to change the system. You don't have to fight the system, but you are responsible for the atmosphere within your language classroom. So you can bring what's best from the system, and having the knowledge that you have now, you can change it slightly so that you could squeeze the best effect out of the feedback, which is implemented within the unfortunate system of grading. Okay? And how can you do it? Few things to learn about motivation. And this is what I want you to this is why I want you to study self-determination theory by Ryan and Detty. They are truly the expert about intrinsic motivation and extrinsic motivation. So within the span of not being motivated at all, which is amotivation. So I have no intention to do anything, whatever. I don't really care. At the very bottom, you've got the true intrinsic motivation, but you can see the process from moving from I don't care to a truly intrinsic motivation. It has several stages. Okay. So it could be externally regulated. This is something what schools and systems are built about. So grades, rewards, and punishment, but it's still the motivation outside. Then you've got introjected regulation. So you do something which is not yours because you are afraid of looking foolish, because you don't want to feel guilty, or you want to boost your ego. And it's still external. And then those elements in green, this is something I want you to remember, that either your students could identify with the reason they are attending and they are learning, because that's why I told you at the very beginning. So you need to ask them what is the element above the fact that you want to learn a language. Okay, what's something greater that will happen in your life if you master the language at a particular level. Okay, so it's about the career. And when I was teaching, I was asking, okay, so you're interested in skateboarding, you are interested in diving, you are interested in martial arts. Can you tell me how can this command of English help you within martial arts community? And I was like, it doesn't make sense. They don't connect. And then after a while, it was like, hold on a second, but I can get access to the foreign training materials. I can get access to the research papers. I can get access and I can communicate with the sparring partners from around the world. And the very fact that I can communicate will help me to become more effective when it comes to my training practice. So work with your students. So sometimes there is a mission statement. They have the mission statement in their notebooks, and they come back to this: why am I learning a language? So these three elements at the bottom, this is very close to this intrinsic motivation. And now there are two words, endogenous and exogenous awards. So these are the elements that sometimes external award could lower the intrinsic motivation. So because of the fact that you offer something externally, like a prize or a grade or money or something, and you hope that it will boost internal motivation, it could reduce internal motivation in one of the two variations. Endogenous award means that this particular award is part of the process that you are dealing with. So for example, salary, when we work, is endogenous because salary is installed in the system. So it's a part of a process. So if you get a salary raise and you get more money, the research shows that it will not lower your intrinsic motivation. Actually, it can boost your intrinsic motivation. Okay, so you will work better and more effectively because you enjoy it. And this external award, which is a part of a process, can help you. Exogenous award means that the award is not part of the system, and how to paint it in a clear way. So this is the situation when the student hears a sentence from parents: you will get a new mountain bike if you get an A from a forthcoming English test. You see, getting a new mountain bike is not related to the learning process at all. And if this type of awards happen, then there is quite a likelihood that they will lower this intrinsic motivation. that a child or a student, that the person will start doing something only on condition that they want to get something, not because they are internally motivated. And we know that this internal motivation is responsible for perseverance, success, and in general, better satisfaction. So, how to put it into practice? When we give certificates, we give grades, and we give stars and stickers to kids and teenagers, etc., etc., etc. You need to reframe the award and you need to reframe grades, because if grade is only an A because you will pass or fail, this is a form of control. If you perceive grade as a form of control, it will lower the motivation. However, if a grade has an informative value, it will support this internal motivation and it will support the energy coming from within. So how can you say it? It means like you've got an A because this A means your ability to build complex sentences. The very fact that you scored 80% shows that you can use critical thinking. You can apply critical thinking in understanding multiple choice reading text, okay? Instead of saying you must get 50% to do A, B, or C. So that's number one. That's why you celebrate trying, you celebrate effort, and you celebrate progress. Because I want you to remember that if you talk about grade, there should be information attached to it, not the control pass or fail. So that's number one. Number two, if you give stars, stickers, and certificates, that's okay, but make sure that the hero of the sticker and the hero of the star is the competence of a particular student. So you got a certificate or you got a sticker not because you are the best, but because the sticker represents your ability to listen and answer the question in multiple choice listing section, because the certificates represents your ability to communicate effectively within the English language reality. Okay, so you give the sticker to kids, but you bring competence, that the competence is the hero. And the final one, the competition. Okay, it's not that you won because you are the best, but you won because it shows how far have you you've shown the distance you've covered from the situation you were a year ago, 2 years ago, or 6 months ago to this particular moment. And it shows the mastery and the development which is in the process. Not that you are the best in the class, okay? So we can talk about grades, we can talk about certificates, we can talk about diplomas, on condition that we attach competence, that we attach information, not control, and then we bring growth within this competition, and we teach them that they compare their performance to who they were previously, not to the class. Okay? So remember that when it comes to motivation, and these are the three needs, that's why the effective feedback will address the three needs. The motivation will flourish, and you pointed out correctly when there was a question, when they feel autonomy, that they can choose, when they feel that they can see the situation as a challenge, that's why we had this element about stress, what can I learn from it, and when they feel that they are part of the team. Rewards are risky, as you see, because they can bring this intrinsic motivation down if they are not connected to the process. If as a teacher you know that the grade is a part of the process, if it has information value, it shows competence, and you name this competence instead of saying A, B, C, fail, pass, then they will boost the competence. If they are treated as a form of control, the research shows that bring the motivation down. So they need to be designed carefully. And I told you, you don't have to fight the system. You can accept that there is a certificate at the end. You can accept that you need to give grades at the end of the semester. But then you know that, okay, from the certificates, there is a competence and it shows progress and there is an element of effort. And this is something that you underscore. Okay. So putting things all together. So the beautiful feedback, it's about showing them how to be curious, about the joyous exploration, about searching for an answer, about stress tolerance, about the social curiosity, about the thrill seeking. That's why we talked about the curiosity wall. This is about helping them discover this love for learning. This is about showing them when you give feedback that they can grow, because they could come from the reality that the parents or the environment told them, you will not change, you will not develop your English because none of us in the family speak English fluently. So the role of the feedback is to foster this growth mindset. And the final element from today, if you deliver effective feedback, try to make a shift from the threat to challenge. And there are three elements to address: autonomy, competence, and relatedness. If you manage to cater for these three needs within giving a feedback, then you stand yourself in a good chance of providing the feedback that those elements will boost the creativity, will boost the growth, and your student will say, oh my God, the things that they say in the English class, they give me the energy. Okay, so that's the end of the I Develop series. And the first two recordings are already on the website. I want you to experiment with feedback. I want you to try micro feedback within the activities. Just 1 second sentence, nice choice of words, great combinations in structure, perfect use of past tense, whatever you want. Then try to design one feedback for all, but once you design it, three needs to address, and then experiment with pure feedback. Use grades, use certificates, use stickers, but make sure that there is a value attached of competence, trying, effort, success, and they are not a form of control, because you know it, that control will reduce the intrinsic motivation. So play with it, experiment, fail, learn from your failures, and come to our next webinar, because next month we are starting the Teach series, and the first webinar will be on artificial intelligence, the use of artificial intelligence in exam preparation classes, or a hot topic, but this is something which is part of our reality. Then we'll talk about international certificate, the level and benchmark tests. All the sessions, I aim to be as interactive as the sessions we had. And this is my last webinar in this Teacher Training Academy. Commencing next month, I'm giving you to other different and wonderful presenters. So I'm really grateful for you being with me in these free webinars, for your interaction, for the feedback that you shared with us, because I read all those feedbacks and I take it personally and I try to learn it, and I keep my feedback notes. So I bring it with me and I use it as an inspiration. So the recording will be added to the Teacher Training Academy website, Desisława. Thanks a lot, Charlotte. And you will get this feedback link survey tomorrow or on Monday at the latest. And those who were present, who attended 3 webinars altogether, they will get a certificate and have the rest of the day in as beautiful way as it can be, and enjoy the rest of the teaching process. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for your energy. Thank you for this interaction. And let's make teaching reality a better place. Thanks. Bye-bye. Thank you, Oksana. Thanks, Carmen.